Hello and welcome to a new video. In this particular one, I will tell you a little story about one weekend a few weeks ago when my husband and we finally crawled out of our apartment and head out to city. And it was one of the last warm days, even though we didn't have much this summer in Moscow, but it was one of those warm, kind of sunny days, and we have decided not to waste it indoors and instead went exploring this art pavilions. I don't know how to pronounce this word in English because in Russian it sounds almost exactly like that, paviliony. But when I googled it, it's kind of pavilions or something like this. I don't know, please don't come after me because I never heard this word before on other languages. But basically, it's huge art objects all around the city, mostly in the center, and it could be anything like a huge berry or a big dog or even a samovar. It's a temporary project organized by the local government and it calls Summer in the City. And it will end up with the end of August. So I'm pretty happy that we have been able to see it and to capture for you guys. So I really hope you will enjoy this video and let's start. So our journey began at the big strawberry in the Moscow city area. FYI, that's the part of the town with all the shiny glass towers and basically Moscow's mini Dubai. From the outside, this art thing looks like a huge berry that escaped from some sort of fairy tale and landed in the middle of the skyscrapers. Inside, they sell all kind of berries and lemonade and some ice cream, and it's cute and tasty and of course overpriced. And I'm not gonna dive into Moscow city itself right now, that place deserves its own tour. But if you're curious, let me know and I will make a separate video because there's actually a lot to see around those towers. After spending there like 20 minutes, we jumped onto the metro. Quick note here, I personally think that Moscow Metro is the best urban transport that you can get inside the city. It's clean, it's cheap, it's very understandable, you don't need Google Maps every few minutes, and it's literally very visual, there is signs almost everywhere, and yeah, super easy. There is also MCK, which stands for Moscow Central Circles, and MCD, which is Moscow Central Diameters. And there is kind of above the ground part of the metro, which sometimes would be a little bit harder to understand how to get there. But again, everything in general is very visual, there are signs everywhere. And if you ever plan to be in Moscow, this is the best way to transfer from one part city to another. And you would be surprised how easy is that. Moscow Metro is, again, very clean and also beautiful in its own unique way because every station is different. Some are more historical, other ones more modern ones with different themes and coloring. So yeah, I really think that this is the beautiful way of using the transport and the experience that you might also want to have if you ever would be in Moscow. So the next stop was bus pavilion, but not just a bus, a beauty bus. Inside, shelves with cosmetics and local brands and makeup zones, and basically mini Sephora on the wheels with the flowers in the ceiling. And what I really love about these pavilions is how they built right into the city itself. And even though this bus obviously isn't moving, it feels like it's just parked here for a minute, and which gives you a weird urge to take a picture with it before it drives away. So by that point, it's probably a couple of minutes of you watching this, but for us, it has been already almost 2 hours. And of course, we got hungry. So we ducked into this cute cafe in 50s American diner style. My husband had a burger that, according to him, was really good, and I had a veggie quesadilla that wasn't. But the whole place was kinda cute, and neon signs and jukebox vibes totally saved the moment. From there, it was about an 8-minute walk to the giant samovar. If you don't know, a samovar is basically an old-school Russian tea kettle, huge and made of metal, where people used to boil water and make tea for the whole family. Inside this art objects was some souvenirs and tea, and nearby a street rock band was playing, so you sip a tea and suddenly it feels like you're in a weird art house Russian music video. But honestly, there wasn't much else to see there, so after a few minutes we moved on. Next, we took a walk near Red Square, which sounds kind of epic, but in reality it was just us moving through weekend crowds. Tourists with cameras, and locals out for a stroll, and families with the kids, and everyone at once. We were basically trying to survive and trying not to bump into ice cream cones or get stuck in someone else's group photo. So we were trying to head in straight to the next pavilion, which was shiny and looked like it covered with the fish scales. Inside, it was more like a small boutique with a few racks with local designer clothes and accessories. And it was fun to look at, even if I'm not exactly the target audience. Then, after a few minutes down the narrow side street, we found the fridge, filled with Moscow-made ice cream and desserts, and right next to it, the next pavilion, the Rocket. And I'm not gonna lie, from the outside it looked kinda dull, and inside it was empty too. Just a few sections for kids to play around, and they seemed to enjoy it, but comparing to the previous pavilions, it felt way less impressive. So we head out to the last art object of the day, and it was hot air balloon pavilion. And again, from the outside, it looked kind of plain, and inside it was the same story, just a small space with a couple of toys for sale. Nothing terrible, but also nothing special worth looking at. Luckily, the central market was right nearby. It's a huge food court with a ton of options, so we grabbed some milkshakes and felt like we've done our cultural duty for the day, so we slowly wandered towards Pushkinskaya metro. We skipped the giant chess piece and the huge dog sculpture because A, they were out of the way, and B, our friends who visited all of these art objects earlier said that they weren't that exciting anyways. So on the way, I admired another big fridge, which was the red one, and personally I think that it looks way cooler than the white one that we've seen before, but also by that time it was already closed and my camera battery died anyways, so yeah, I know, I've been doing this for so many years and still make noob mistakes, so we wrapped out our adventures for the day and finally headed home. So yeah, we didn't see everything, but to be honest, I didn't want to because some things were obviously more exciting than the others. And just the whole experience of going from one point to another was already a fun journey. And to see new things on familiar streets, well, familiar for somebody because I barely leave the house even though I'm living in Moscow for 6 years. But if you would like this video, I might do that sometime in the future again, because, you know, Moscow rental is pretty expensive and I'm trying to sit it out and make the money worth, but who knows, maybe we will do something similar in the future. It all depends on you. And also I'm curious, do you have anything similar, like projects or some government initiatives in the area that you're living in, because I'm trying to steal ideas for future trips. And I guess this is all for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Чусики. Уи!